Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Southern Virginia University Men's Lacrosse. It is the final athletic webcast of this 2014-2015 athletic season. I'm Jim Bresnahan, joined by Mike Harmon. It's a rainy, cold day, Mike, here at the fields at Southern Virginia University as the men's lacrosse team will play its final game of the 2015 season, taking on Lees-McRae, the Bobcats from Lees-McRae from North Carolina.
Yeah, they come up from Banner Elk. They're a Division II school. Just started their lacrosse program. 2-13 coming in. The Knights are coming in at 1-14, so it's going to be a nice, good, hard-fought game.
And it looks like Colin Smith, one of the Knights, being honored. Little pregame festivities here. Of course, whenever we have all these final home games, it is senior day, and you're talking about guys who are probably playing their last game, and looks like Colin Smith will be honored here.
Yeah, Colin is going to be graduating, although he's listed as a sophomore on the roster. He's only played for 2 years, but he's a defenseman. Played in 7 games so far. Has a couple ground balls that he's picked up for the Knights this year. Just a kid that came in with the hope of helping build the team up, and has really just stepped up and done a great thing. But we congratulate him and on his impending graduation.
And it should be a good battle here today with Lees-McRae. As you mentioned, Mike, they've won a couple of games this year. Southern Virginia, just that one victory against Cobleskill earlier, and the Knights would love to wrap up this season, not just for Colin, but for the returning players in 2016. Try to wrap it all up today with a victory.
Well, it's always good to see your progress over the season, and this is one of in the last game. You know, they've played some Division III ranked teams in Frostburg and in Salisbury and in York. And we could say the rest of them also in the Capital Conference. And this is just going to be a time for them to see where they've really come from the beginning of the season to right now.
Yeah, they'll be facing a Lees-McRae team, as you mentioned, from North Carolina that is D2. And so the record, I guess, they could be a little deceiving. Again, they've only won 2 times this season, but it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out today.
Yeah, they're one of the just starting off. They're in a conference down in North Carolina, South Carolina that has some really good lacrosse teams in it. They played the number 11 team this year so far in Division II, and now they're just trying to build up. And we'll see how they stack up against some of the conference teams that we've played against.
And it's a good chance before we get things underway today here from the fields at Southern Virginia University. Mike, again, this is our last athletic webcast. Been a long 8 months. You go back to obviously football and other fall sports back in the fall, and of course basketball in the winter time, and a very busy spring, even though it's been delayed by the weather. But we want to thank everybody who's made our athletic webcast possible over the last 8 months. First and foremost, our director, our administrator, Craig Reese.
Yes, Craig. He's sitting in here with us, and he's been the one that's kind of kept us up and running all year long.
I know you complain that he never brings pizza. But
never brings pizza to us, but he's working on that for next year.
So Craig has done a magnificent job administering all of these webcasts all the way back to the fall, and we also have to thank all of his camera people that Craig has lined up, again, really over the last 8 months. You go back to not just the spring sports we've been busy with the last 2 months, but basketball and some wrestling, I guess, in the wintertime, and then a very busy fall, too, with soccer, volleyball, and, of course, football.
Yeah, and they've done a fabulous job, especially being able to withstand all the weather that we've had, whether it be the rain, the wind, the snow that we've had. They've stood out there and done their job just tremendously in order to bring these webcasts to friends and family.
And got to thank Jason Lamb, athletic director, who is also, of course, the men's lacrosse coach, as well as Chris Pendleton with the communications office, Art Furler. Art, of course, did a lot of athletic webcasting back in the fall, including some football and some volleyball.
Yeah, Art's been a jack of all trades, and he's a better football broadcaster than I am. So we'll see if he's going to be available for that again in the coming up year.
And Mike, thanks to you, of course, for all the efforts you've done over the last 6-7 months. You did some fall sports, did some soccer, I guess, and some volleyball, and then obviously a mainstay in basketball. And despite all the cancellations back in February and March, it's been a very busy spring too.
Yes, it sure has. And Jim, thank you for carrying me for a while on some of these broadcasts. I think we've worked well together and look forward to continuing these webcasts as we go further and seeing these teams really just grow and expand.
And one last thing to thank would be all the coaches and the players.
Exactly. Well, we're getting ready to see the face-off now coming up. And
for those who could see the sprinkles, Mike,
Yeah.
again, this is more like, I know it's a week away or so from May, but this is more like the weather we recall from our first few lacrosse games back in mid-March.
It sure is, and this is going to make the turf just wet. And watch out for these little skip shots that both teams will be trying to throw in.
And the opening draw will go to Lees-McRae. Mike Benginder was taking that opening draw for the Knights.
Nice job of the Knights to recover the ground ball.
And the Knights are immediately on the attack here in the opening seconds of this first period.
And this is something that we haven't seen them being able to do earlier on in the season is win the face-offs very, very quickly and go on to the attack.
And again, they had Benginder actually on the face-off, the opening face-off.
Yeah, that was, again, trying to use his athleticism and very technical in those face-offs.
Got Casey Rich right now behind the cage, and also Sean Peterson as the Knights very methodically and very patiently working it around here in the opening possession.
Well, what they're trying to do is probe that defense, find where the weaknesses are, and then make their attack.
And a quick shot by the Knights. Deflects off. Shot taken by Sean Peterson. But here's Russell Anderson with it as the Knights grab the possession after the missed shot and then lose it.
You see a quick transition for Lees-McRae to get the ball down into the box, trying to catch the Knights in some defensive transition lapses.
And now we'll see what their offensive philosophy might be, at least in the opening minutes. They go right across the middle. Nice deflection by Lamb, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, someone lost track of their man coming right down the middle of the zone there, right to the front doorstep, and Lamb did a great job of deflecting that high shot.
Bobcats with the possession, their first real possession of the first period here, looking for another good shot. They work it across the middle, ground ball shot, low shot, goes in.
Yeah, there's those skip shots again. When the turf's wet, you're anticipating the ball to come up off the turf, and it just doesn't. It just skips straight through.
That ball stuck in the cage, it looks like. They're going to have to dig it out. The only problem, I guess, Mike, with that kind of shot is just trying to make sure you've got an opening all the way to the cage.
Yeah, and even if you don't, you go ahead and take those shots just so if it does bounce off somebody, they'll get out of the way the next time.
So Lees-McRae drawing first blood and taking a 1-0 lead here.
And now we see Ryan Larson in there on the face-off.
Knights hoping to finish off this 2015 season with a victory. They added this game, Mike. Of course, they had Millsaps originally scheduled for this final game. That one got canceled, and they added Lees-McRae.
Yeah, both teams had not made it to their conference finals and been able to play until the conference finals are over. They wanted to get one extra game in, and that's great to try again for the coaches to implement more of their offensive and defensive strategies.
They probably were hoping for better weather, but we got what we got.
Yeah, you can't have the sunshine all the time and 70-degree weather, but I think if you would have asked the guys out there, this is more lacrosse weather, something that they enjoy.
And a shot taken from way outside, down low to Peterson. He spins it, shoots, and scores. Sean Peterson ties the game at 1.
Yeah, nice job of picking up that ball that got knocked off someone's stick. Sean was able to find the ball, and then nice little reverse pivot for the shot into the net.
That's his 23rd goal, by the way, Mike, this season, and that puts him now second on the team. He had been tied with Anthony Good for second on the team in goals with 22, but now he's all by himself at 23, second on the team, right behind, of course, Casey Rich.
Yeah, and again, as more as this offensive philosophy by Coach Lamb gets put into place, we'll see more and more scoring as the years go on. But right now you can see Coach Lamb trying to explain, this is what we want you to do. We're looking for these type of passes and then these type of cuts. And we've seen the offense of the Knights just really expand over the course of the season.
And so Southern Virginia and Lees-McRae all tied up at 1 here now in the first period.
And a quick timeout, only 13 minutes or 12 minutes and 33 seconds into the first quarter, and already a timeout.
And you're wondering what they're talking about this early, just a couple of minutes into the game.
Yeah, and we didn't see who called the timeout. I don't know if Coach Lamb would have called a timeout right after scoring. That kind of breaks momentum, so I'm assuming that it would be Lees-McRae that called the timeout. They're trying to make some type of adjustment, I would assume, after that goal scored.
Well, that's a couple of times now that Sean Peterson has gotten very close for shots just less than 4 or 5 feet away. And so the Knights are going to send Ryan Larson, it looks like, out for the draw in this 1-1 ball game.
Yeah, Ryan did a great job on that last face-off, was able to take control of it, and really that's the whole key to these face-offs is if you can control the face-offs and you can control the amount of time that you had the ball, obviously you're going to have more chances to score.
Dominic Hamilton, midfielder, sophomore, he's taking the draw here for Lees-McRae. This draw skips out and will be battled for. And finally, it is going to be retrieved momentarily by Lees-McRae. And then the Knights knock down a Lees-McRae player and come away with the ball. It is Sean Peterson with it.
And Sean attacking from right behind the net. They want to spread out Lees-McRae and obviously try to find some type of seams going towards the goal.
And the Knights have alternated so far in this first period, Mike, being very patient at times and other times aggressively attacking. And here's Anthony Good spinning towards the goal, and he scores to make it 2-1 Knights.
Again, another great reverse pivot there by Anthony Good.
And he immediately ties Peterson for second on the team with his 23rd goal of the season. So a little battle back and forth.
It's a friendly battle. No one wants to be left out on the goal scoring, and I'm pretty sure that today they feel like that they are well ahead skill-wise of Lees-McRae, and they're trying to show it by going directly after them.
And we've talked about it before, the potential impact of using games like this as a springboard for those returning players. And obviously, we're talking months away from the 2016 season. On the other hand, again, you can't underestimate, I guess, the momentum of just a solid victory in your final ball game of a season.
Well, it's not even the momentum. It's the extra week of practice that they've had. If they would have just stopped right when they were eliminated from Capital play, they would have not had that extra week of practice, not having to go play games. They can implement and refine a lot of the strategies that they want to put in.
Knights have a 2-1 lead, and they've got the ball again down low. Bangutter with it.
And wisely again, the Knights take the ball back out, spread it out, and you can see how far Lees-McRae is coming out trying to guard the ball. That's just going to leave a lot of open lanes for the Knights to exploit.
I would imagine the way things have gone, especially for Peterson, who's been able to shake loose down low, that they really want to see this defense really kind of spread out like this.
Yeah, this is a goal scorer's dream.
Nice pass down low across the middle, but it's batted away. Scooped up, though, by the Knights. Mackenzie Turnbull with it. Knights have a 2-1 lead here. Here's Anthony Good trying to work his way in, muscle his way in, passes the ball, but it goes way outside, retrieved by Anderson. And now it is Mackenzie Turnbull with it again.
And if Good could have connected on that pass, he had a wide open player right in the middle of the zone there and for an easy shot.
Turnbull, nothing there, so he'll back it out to Bangutter.
And we're seeing a lot of possession time by the Knights.
Shot good by Mike Bangutter from outside. That was one of the longer shots we've seen this season from the Knights, who usually get point blank before they fire. That one was a good 10 yards away, and he put that one right past the goalkeeper for a 3-1 SVU lead.
Well, they let Bangutter have a lot of free room. They were playing off of him about 3 or 4 yards. Mike was able to wind up and put it in the upper corner, and that's just, again, a goal scorer's dream. If you give them enough room and they're within about 15 feet, they're going to go ahead and just really just wind up and let it go.
You know, when you talk about good 4 to 5 minute stretches, Mike, this opening minutes of this first period against Lees-McRae has to be right up there, along with the first half of the first period they had against Frostburg a few weeks ago, and of course the last 4 minutes of that Cobleskill victory.
Yeah, this is the way that Coach Lamb was hoping that the Knights would always play. And again, that extra week of practice, you can't just emphasize how important that is.
How about Mike Anderson there crushing his way past a Lees-McRae defender and working the ball all the way upfield?
He was doing his best Jim Brown impression there. And again, it's just they're starting to feel more comfortable with the whole systems that they're in. This is great for them to be able to play this extra game because they're going to be able to remember this and put this into play when the next season rolls around and not have to spend so much time of teaching but now refining.
And Jason Lamb, I'm sure the thing he wants to see is this kind of play continue for all 4 periods today.
Yeah, you got to play the full game. You can't just play a quarter and a half or even 2 quarters because the way that you can score so fast in lacrosse.
Nice pass by Anderson to Turnbull, but his shot, it goes wide. Knights still have possession, though. Leading here 3-1 in the first period. This is Casey Rich, top goal scorer this season for the Knights. He's trying to get into the act. He works his way down low and scores, it looks like. Nope, the ball's knocked away, and it's retrieved by Lees-McRae. I thought that ball went in, but apparently not.
Yeah, a lot of bodies were in our way. Couldn't tell exactly what was going on.
Casey had a great look at it, battling through defenders to get that close. And now Lees-McRae on the attack, trailing here 3-1.
And I know Coach Lamb wants them to score really close to the goal, but if Lees-McRae is going to lay off you and you're 15 yards out and they're giving you 2 or 3 yards, go ahead and wind up and take that shot.
Now Lees-McRae on the attack, and they fire from a distance and can't score. But still possession goes to the Bobcats. Lees-McRae trying to get back in this game, only down by 2 right now here in the first period. They're going to go for a long, wide shot, it looks like. And Derek Lamb with a great save and keeping possession. Hard shot, too.
And that was just a great read by Derek. He saw that the stick went down low. The Lees-McRae player pumped it twice, but still kept his stick down low, so he knew that little skip shot was coming in. He got his stick down low and was just able to track it all the way through.
And possession, too, Mike. So now the Knights are right back on the attack here with a 2-goal lead.
Well, this is a lot different game than we've seen from the Knights, especially against some of the upper teams in the Capital Athletic Conference.
Nice pass by Rich. Shot is deflected away. And it's Lees-McRae with the ball now. And they do have a good effort to really get that ball upfield in a hurry.
They do. They have some very quick players. What I've noticed so far, though, is just a lack of execution that we've seen from the Salisburys and from the Frostburgs and Yorks.
They tried a no-look pass, and it's taken away by the Knights. That pass, kind of a backwards pass, Mike, works if the other player, your teammate's expecting it, and, of course, if the ball can get through.
Oh, nice reverse pivot there.
Larson with a high shot, skips by the goalkeeper.
And he had his stick hit just as he was getting ready to let go of the shot.
Knights still have possession with this 2-goal lead here in the first period. Anthony Good, who has one of the goals, gets free, shoots and scores again. And that was his 24th goal of the season, his second goal so far today, 4-1 Knights.
Yeah, and if Anthony gets that close and there's only him and the goalkeeper, you can almost go ahead and put it up on the board for him. And that was just a great effort. He beat a double team to the middle of the field and just wide open shot to the top corner.
You know, Casey Rich is 6'2", 205, and Colin Maxfield 6'3", 235. But even though Anthony Good isn't that as tall as those guys at 220, I can't imagine a more physical player for the Knights.
Oh, he's just a ball of muscle. Very strong, very patient, but also very explosive.
And so the Knights have a 3-goal lead now. And if this continues for the entire period, Mike, I don't think there's any question for an entire period of 15 minutes. This will be the best period the Knights have put together all season long.
Yeah, let's not count our chickens before they hatch.
Still got 6 minutes to go.
Yeah, let's not put any hex on the Knights. It's kind of like we did with some of our free throw shooters during the basketball season.
And if I recall, against Cobleskill, they got off to a 4-1 lead perhaps and lost that lead. We thut that maybe it was even 5-1, I think.
Yeah, I think it was 5-1.
We thought that game might wind up being a blowout, and of course we all know how that game turned around, where the Knights actually trailed by 3 and then scored 4 goals in the final 4 minutes to win that game.
But since then, again, the Knights have played very tough competition that hones you. It might not look good on the score sheets as someone looks at what the scores were, but just playing that type of competition makes you so much better. And we're starting to see some of the fruits of playing the Frostburgs, the Salisburys, the Yorks, as they go through and try to compete in the Capital Athletic Conference.
And how about the Knights that time driving Dustin Barrow, who had possession of the ball, driving him out of bounds. Both Anthony Good and another teammate able to get him all the way out of bounds. And here comes a move by the Knights towards the goal. They lose it momentarily. Casey Rich has it. He fires. High shot deflected away by the goalkeeper. Jordan Lombardo is the goalkeeper. He's a freshman, 5'8", 235. Very stocky goalkeeper. And he was able to knock that ball away.
Kind of a quick one-on-one move, which turned into a one-on-three move by the Knights. And we've really seen them be patient and try to create just really one-on-ones and not let double teams come. I'd like to see that happen even more.
Well, the defense has been very solid also here in the first period, not just Derek Lamb, the goalkeeper, but the defensive effort and the Knights really forcing up Lees-McRae to give up the ball pretty quickly. They don't have long possessions.
Yeah, this might be the most.
And here's another one, a turnover on Lees-McRae's part.
This may be the most physical that we've seen the Knights play all year long, but also the most as far as playing together as a cohesive unit on the defensive end. We've seen a lot of defensive transition. Everybody's back in place. No one's lagging behind. Just a great try on the defensive end.
Here come the Knights on the attack again with this 3-goal lead as Bangarter with it. He'll lob it behind to Sean Peterson. Knights have 4 goals so far, 2 of them by Anthony Good, who's got it right now.
And you see him trying to clear some things out to create some one-on-ones, and as long as the Bobcats keep coming that far out to play the ball, again, a lot of open lanes, whether they're passing lanes or driving lanes, are going to present themselves for the Knights.
And when you've got a big lead like this, Mike, and the other team is allowing you to just go around the perimeter like this, in a circle at your leisure, do you kind of want to take your foot off the gas a little bit and run the clock, or do you want to keep on the attack whenever possible?
You keep on the attack whenever possible, but you run your offense until it presents the wide open opportunity that you want. Almost to the old four corners of North Carolina.
Anthony Good gets by a defender. Another defender slips. Good still facing a couple of defenders, fires a shot high and deflected away. Anthony Good almost went through 3 defenders that time to get that shot off.
See, and that's where you just want to be patient. When you feel that double team coming, you want to try to make sure that you can back it back out. Find the person that's open.
Casey Rich getting free. He can't get the goal. He's still looking for his first goal, and the goalkeeper, I believe, is down. Lombardo for Lees-McRae. Took a shot. He's listed as their only goalie on the roster.
And that would be a huge blow to lose him if you're the Bobcats.
Looks like he's ready to continue.
You know, it is cool outside and with the rain, and if you get hit with one of those sticks, and he's not wearing a lot of protective padding.
So what hurts worse, like the old baseball vibrations
on
the baseball bat, or something along those lines?
I think something along these lines. When you get hit by a stick.
And it looks like the Lees-McRae coach is raising some cane about maybe why there wasn't a penalty called.
Yeah, he was inside the crease, and if you hit the goalie while they're inside the crease, there should be some kind of call. Now he's questioning and been told to go back to the sideline.
You probably have been told that a few times.
Oh, I've been told a lot of things.
Most of which you probably can't repeat.
There's a few things that you can repeat, but let's just watch the Knights play their game.
Well, you know, no matter what the sport is, umpire, referee, you name it, they're only going to take so much.
They do. And that's just one of the jobs that you really don't want to have if you're a coach. I mean, if you're a coach, you always think that you know the rules better than they do. And I would dare say that there's sometimes you do. But they do a tremendous job and receive no praise whatsoever. About the best praise we can give referees, if you're coaching, about the best praise you can give referees is you didn't even notice them during the game.
That's right, yeah. where they really haven't stood out, or really no call really comes to mind.
Yeah.
So the Knights have a 3-goal lead here with 2:25 to go. And really, Lees-McRae, the one thing they've done really well, and it's not going to really figure onto the scoreboard, is bringing the ball up. They've got a lot of fast players, as you mentioned, Mike, who have been able to bring the ball up into the offensive area very quickly. But that's about it as far as what the Bobcats have done positively here. They try a low shot. They got their first and only goal as a low shot. That was no good. Still possession, though, by the Bobcats.
Yeah, their clears are fantastic. But other than that, we're seeing just a lot of stagnant offense, and not even stagnant offense, but bad passing on the offense.
And I'm not sure it's so much against Lees-McRae. It's just great defense by the Knights, who are really physical today, as you mentioned earlier.
Well, the Knights have seen it all. Again, playing against Salisbury and Frostburg, those outstanding teams. Mary Washington.
Now you could go through the entire list just about.
They've just been able to. They've seen it all, and they know it's going to happen, and they've just been prepared very well for this game by playing that type of competition. So we have a timeout now.
And we're just a little under 2 minutes to go in this first period, and the Knights have a 4-1 lead.
And looking out at the scoreboard, we can see that the Knights have 6 shots on goal for 4 goals. Lees-McRae only has 3 shots on goal for 1 goal. Again, the whole defense is playing extremely well.
And needless to say, again, the Knights came in 1-14 on the season, just the one victory back in March over Cobleskill. This is going to be a record for the season. It provided nobody scores here in the final minute 54, that the Knights could go through a period like this and only allow 1 goal.
Yeah, that would be just fabulous. And if they can continue that, again, that intensity level has to maintain for a full game. And we've seen that the Knights play really well in the first half. Then the numbers starts to catch up with them. Well, Lees-McRae doesn't have the numbers that we've seen some of the other teams that have come in here to play with. So both teams are on equal footing as far as being able to run players in and out. We're just going to see who can execute the best.
And of course, the Knights only have that 1 win this year against Cobleskill, and that took a huge rally in the final 4 minutes. Not something you can count on a regular basis. You got to know that Jason Lamb wants to have his team perform exactly as you just mentioned there for 4 periods.
Yeah, you want to play from ahead and figure out, hey, this is pretty good to play from ahead, and if they can figure that out and like that feeling, again, as they come back next year, there's not as much teaching that has to go into things. Now they can start refining things.
So the Knights are ahead by 3 here with a minute 54 to go, first period. I would imagine the rain's going to keep on, Mike, throughout the afternoon today.
Yeah, it's just going to make the turf a little bit wet, and we'll see some people slide a little bit, and it's going to cause the ball to skip a little bit more. But that turf field really just sucks the moisture in, and it's rated to pull off about 100 gallons of water a minute. So
we've already seen a few players slide down today. And, of course, the one and only goal that Lees-McRae had was a skip shot.
But since then, Derek has made some great adjustments to battle those skip shots that Lees-McRae has tried to hit.
Now you can see the Knights really very tight defensively, and they knocked the ball loose. You can see the difference. So Lees-McRae, in many cases, they're spread out defensively. The Knights are really compact.
Yeah, they're playing more of a what we call a pack defense, and we can see it really obvious in basketball. But they're packing it in. They'll come out and play the person on the ball about 15 yards out, and then after that, they're going to play the passing lanes and make sure that you take a shot from where they want you to take it 15 yards or out.
And the Knights did a good job of clearing, getting into the offensive area with Russell Anderson leading the way. And now the question becomes here with 50 seconds to go, will the Knights basically hold it maybe and try to get the last shot of the period?
Well, they should work the ball around. If an opportunity presents itself, go ahead and take it. But about the 10-second mark, that's when you really want to look to attack.
And a bad pass and a turnover for the Knights. Still with 30 seconds to go. Not what Jason Lamb was hoping to see. It a goal by Lees-McRae. So instead of maybe a 5-1 lead for the Knights at the end of one period, suddenly it's 4-2. A big turnover, Mike, and with like 30, 35 seconds to go, and then Lees-McRae compounds that turnover by scoring about 5-10 seconds later at the other end.
You know, that's kind of like the Notre Dame and North Carolina game last week. Notre Dame was behind by 2 scores. North Carolina had it with less than a minute to go. All they had to do was just hang on to the ball, pass it around, and someone took an ill-advised shot. Notre Dame was able to come down, score quickly again after the face-off, and go on and win the game. This is not what the Knights want to do.
Well, that turnover by the Knights, Mike, I'm not sure it was so much a bad pass as just a bad decision to make that kind of pass with the defender right there in front of you.
Yeah, and again, learning to play from ahead is something that the Knights haven't been able to really work on so far this year, and this is a new experience for
See
them.
if they can get a shot off here with 5 seconds to go. Anderson coming down low, fires a shot. It's blocked. Oh, the ball was just laying there in front of the goal. And the Knights had a shot, if they could grab it, Mike, to put it right in because the goalkeeper didn't know where it was.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't step inside the goalie circle there and inside the crease, and you saw the sticks trying to push and shove at it and just couldn't get it to go in. But really a good first quarter for the Knights. A lot of patience on offense, and their defense, except for that one defensive transition where the Bobcats scored very quickly in about 5 seconds. Just played very well.
Yeah, you got a feeling, obviously, that's the aberration, the exception to the rule, that turnover, and then the goal that was scored after the turnover. I'm sure Jason Lamb is telling his team that if we can do the 90% what we did positively in that first period for the other 3 periods and don't worry about silly turnovers, this game should really be won by Southern Virginia, maybe convincingly today.
Yes, it should. And again, if they can keep scoring 4-2 every quarter, it'll be a great day for the Knights to get off the field, not only for Colin Smith, but again for Coach Lamb, his staff, and for all the players who've put in a lot of hard work.
Because as we've seen throughout the season, you get 5 or 6 ahead into the 4th period, it's very difficult for the other team to come back. I know Colbiskill had a 3-goal lead with 4 minutes to go, and a lot of people might say, hey, that's almost insurmountable. And, of course, the Knights showed that was not the case by scoring 4 goals in 4 minutes to win that game by 1.
Yeah, this is just a very quick-paced game. You can score very quickly, so really no lead is safe until the final horn goes off.
We'll keep you up to date on the Capital Lacrosse tournaments because they're into the finals, I believe, today, right?
Yeah, they're in the semifinals.
Semifinals.
And they'll start at 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, we have Mary Washington against Frostburg State on the men's side, and then also York versus Salisbury on the men's side. And then we'll look and see.
Could be interesting to see if Frostburg and Salisbury get to the finals there.
That would be another very close and hotly contested game, but they would be playing at Salisbury.
That's right. And, of course, a couple weeks ago they played at Frostburg, and Frostburg ended up losing that game, I think, by 1 in overtime. Yeah. How about the women now?
On the women's side, waiting for it to come up so we can give you the time that they're playing. St. Mary's will be at York at 2 o'clock, and that is the only game going on for today. The other one has been postponed.
That would be Salisbury, I assume, for the women?
Yes.
St. Mary's, we saw them throughout the season. St. Mary's got a good ball club, but some of the upper tier teams for the Capital Conference, Mike, and women's lacrosse action, and then you make the jump to Salisbury. That's a hefty jump, both for men and women.
It is. So it's just one of those things where the Knights have been able to play all these great teams, and now we're seeing that, when they play a team that's of equal athletic ability or equal standings, that they're able to really do some good things.
Another turnover. Pass over to Ryan Larson. He couldn't grab it. It went out of bounds, and Lees-McRae takes over. So we talked about the Knights trying to maintain that kind of momentum for 4 periods, and they've made a few mistakes here in the last couple of minutes.
And hopefully we're not going to see any letdown because of fatigue. Again, it's cool outside. They're not shouldn't be fatigued because of overheating or anything. Hopefully it's just one of those mental mistakes that will happen once, and then they can get the ship righted.
And sometimes it comes down to the opposition. Lees-McRae maybe just had a bad first period, and now maybe hopefully I'm sure their fans are hoping they're starting to put it together. The Knights obviously hoping the other exact opposite.
Again, another little shovel shot there that the Knights were able to defend. But if the Knights continue to play defenses as aggressively as they did in that first quarter, it's going to be really hard for the Bobcats to score.
Lees-McRae trying to find an opening, but the Knights have really packed things in defensively.
And taking the ball away.
And now we'll see if the Knights can go on the attack and try to get a goal. It's been a while since they've scored. Had 4 in the first period. Larson had 1. Also, I believe, or actually, Bangetter had one, and then 2 for Anthony Good, and 1, I believe, for Sean Peterson.
Yes.
And the Knights working down low, and Peterson has his 3rd goal of the game. So Peterson's got 3, or actually 2. That's his 2nd goal of the game. Good's got 2 goals. So Peterson and Good, between them now, you have 4 of the 5.
But that was a great offensive transition. Usually we see the Knights struggle in that offensive transition. We saw 2 quick passes. They found Peterson on the front doorstep. Nobody there except the goalie, and he was able to put it in.
And so now Peterson and Good are tied for 2nd again on the team with 24 goals each this season. Still haven't seen Casey Rich break through with a goal today. Of course, he's the Knights' top goal scorer. All right, Larson doing the draw for the Knights in a 5-2 ball game. And Lees-McRae has it. Just under 13 minutes to go until halftime. You know, Lacrosse is such a momentum game, Mike, so that was a big goal for the Knights to try to wrest momentum away here from Lees-McRae.
That was great way to counteract that ending goal that Lees-McRae had, and also just again off that offensive transition, something that we haven't seen them able to do consistently during the year.
Makes you wonder at this stage of the game, still a long way to go until halftime, Mike, but what section of the game Jason Lamb is more pleased with, his offense or maybe the defense?
I think it's a total effort right now. He's just very pleased that both sides of the ball are just have stepped up and are playing a very complete game.
Mike Anderson bringing it up, and he's done a great job here in this first period clearing the ball for the Knights. Again. And in some cases running over men, running over opposition.
Well, you know,
Casey Rich trying to make a move, trying to get his
first.
Nice
Great pass. Job again.
Mackenzie Turnbull scores, and what an assist by Casey Rich.
And the Bobcats are just turning their head, watching the ball now. As after they're seeing so many one-on-one moves, they're turning their head, watching the ball, and we're seeing cutters come right through to the front doorstep.
And we really haven't seen this all season long. Usually when Anthony Good or Casey Rich get it like that, they'll do is 3 or 4 or 5 moves trying to get free. That time Casey Rich saw Turnbull coming right down the middle.
Yeah, just an awesome shot, pass and shot.
So Turnbull, I believe that's his 4th goal this season, 6-2 Knights. On top by 4. I'm not sure the Knights have led by 5 all season long, Mike.
I don't think they have, Jim, and right now they have a chance to do that.
Sean Tequila with it. He works free towards the middle. He fires a shot blocked away by the goalkeeper. Nice save by Lombardo. And Lees-McRae's got it back because Tequila had a great look at it, Mike.
Yeah, Sean was able to kind of get away from 2 defenders and get a nice shot.
Casey Rich tried to fire when Lombardo was out of the goal.
And you saw his hands just go up in there knowing that he had a wide open goal to attack.
And I'm not sure why exactly Lombardo wasn't anywhere near the goal.
I think he was trying to help out in some of that offensive transition, provide an outlet, but that can be dangerous, especially with the way the Knights are playing defense right now.
Ball rolls out of bounds. It's going to be Southern Virginia's ball here. It's Turnbull with it, who just scored. Knights on the attack, leading by 4. Anthony Good's got a couple of goals today. And you can sense, Mike, a long way to go in this game, second half obviously, and still over 10 minutes to go here in the second period. But the Knights have scored a couple of goals, and they seemingly want to keep that foot on the gas pedal.
Well, the good thing about scoring goals and having the assist after you score goals is it doesn't tire you out as much. You don't have to have one person or 3 people really in the case of the Knights have to go in and get banged on by 2 or 3 people trying to score a goal. Now they're having those goal scorers turn those assists for other people and not have to really take a lot of punishment.
Russell Anderson took some punishment there and lost the ball. Took a real hit.
Oh, and a stick broke.
Lees-McRae works it up. Down by 4 here. Yeah, I think Anderson's stick broke. Disappointing turnover, I'm sure, for Jason Lamb, who was hoping to get a goal and be up by 5. But the Knights knock it away and take it right back.
That pack defense is really just...
Patrick Reese had it, but couldn't get it up to a teammate.
The ball's going to go over to the Knights now.
9:54 to go till halftime. The Knights on top here, 6-2.
Couldn't tell if there was a penalty or not.
Knights have it. Trying to get that lead up to 5 now, which has never been all season long. Larson to Bangutter, who's got a goal today. Now Rich to Good. Anthony tries to spin his way in. Couldn't find that opening. Long shot taken by the Knights. Knocked away.
But that was a good shot. He was wide open. The defender was at least 3 yards away from him. He was able to wind up trying to hit that top right corner. Just a good play by the goalie.
Knights 9 shots on goal, only 4 shots on goal so far for Lees-McRae. Shot is deflected away by Lombardo. Nice hard shot by Bangutter. And the Knights still have it. This is going to be a turnover. Pass over to Larson. Perhaps a little behind him, Mike. He couldn't handle the pass, and now Lees-McRae has it on the Southern Virginia turnover.
Yeah, just trying to do a little bit too much with that pass, trying to get there too fast. But after this turnover now, we've seen the Bobcats clear the ball.
And a mistake there almost by Lees-McRae. Good hit by Casey Rich. He knocks the ball away, and we got a penalty.
Yeah, we've seen the Knights, or the Bobcats, clear the ball quickly in the first quarter, but so far in the second quarter, they haven't been able to clear it as quickly, and the Knights have taken advantage of it.
And that time, Casey Rich not only knocked a couple of Lees-McRae players, but used that stick pretty savagely and drew a penalty flag.
Yeah, now the Knights will be playing with a man down, and we'll see how their penalty-killing defense looks.
Knights have scored a couple of goals here in the second period, not allowed any goals in the second period so far, with 8:56 to go. Jason Lamb talking right now with Andrew Lessing. So this could be a crucial part of the game, Mike, for the Knights, who want to just keep the pressure on Lees-McRae after the penalty.
And we see him playing more of a zone defense right now. Trying to kill this penalty off. And so far they have.
And Lees-McRae with a mistake there, bad pass.
And a timeout.
So 8:32 to go, and the Knights are on top here by a 6-2 count. And we've talked about it, Mike. As long as the Knights don't make too many mistakes and just keep applying the pressure, it's looking pretty good, even though we've got the entire second half to go.
Yeah, if they can continue to play defense like they had with the physicality and keep Lees-McRae away from the goal, and then on the offensive end, we're seeing them have great chances, not only for individual goals but to assist on the goals. If they can continue to do that throughout this game, they'll walk away with their senior day win.
Well, of course, we had a senior day for the softball, women's softball, earlier this week. Doubleheader loss to Bridgewater, Mike, but Knights, even though they were really depleted in numbers for the softball team, pretty good effort earlier this week on Tuesday in that doubleheader.
Yeah, they're building towards being relative and then also competitive in the Capital Athletic Conference. And the young ladies that have been here for their 4 years have really tried to lay the groundwork for that.
And in a couple of games down the stretch in the last week and a half of the season against Emory and Henry, and also in one of those games against Bridgewater, they actually had a very close situation going into the fourth inning, and the Knights just saw in each of those cases the game get away from them.
Yeah, it just goes to the lack of depth that they had, not being able to bring in another pitcher. We know that Jamie was the only pitcher that they had, and just kind of wore out. And
You're going to have to track down the number of how many pitches she threw this season.
we'll try to look that up during halftime.
Knights on the attack here with a 6-2 lead.
For women's lacrosse, they have a game going on. It's Mary Washington at Salisbury, and Salisbury's ahead 5-2 with 19:21 to go in the second half.
The Knights lose it, and it's back to Lees-McRae now with 8 minutes to go. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch the D3 men's and women's lacrosse tournaments to see exactly how Salisbury performs. And not to mention if anybody else from the Capital Conference gets in and how far they go. Maybe like a Frostburg for the men, or I don't know, perhaps the St. Mary's for the women.
It will be they'll be one of the favorites, I'm sure. If Salisbury gets the automatic qualifying bid.
Casey Rich trying to take a shot after going through a couple of defenders, and he can't score. He's still looking for his first goal today.
And he may start to be pressing just a little bit. He wants to catch up with the other goal scorers. If he just relaxes and let the goals come to him, we'll see him with 2 or 3 goals by the end of the game.
Casey came in with 33 goals for the season. Good and Peterson each have a couple of goals today. They're up to 24 for the season. Here comes Lees-McRae on the attack, firing a shot. And Lees-McRae makes it 6-3.
And we saw the
tough
Knights
save opportunity there for Derek Lamb, who thought he had it, but just couldn't stop it from going through.
You know, you saw the Knights defense really pressing up all the way to the goal of their own goal on the other, or Bobcats' goal on the other end, and that really left an opening for the offensive transition of the Bobcats. One of the only times in this game that they were able to really get to the front doorstep against the Knights defense.
So we'll see who gets possession off this draw, with the lead back down to 3 now for the Knights, who were trying to get it up to 5. But right now it's only a 3-goal lead for the Knights with 7:06 to go till halftime. Knights kicking it around, trying to grab it. Several opportunities, ball still rolling. Finally scooped up by Ryan Larson. And the Knights are on the attack, and we'll see if they can get a goal here, Mike, to try to deflect that temporary momentum that Lees-McRae had with a goal, and then a pass over the head of Anthony Good out of bounds, and Lees-McRae will get it on the Knights turnover.
Well, the one thing the Knights can't do is start to panic. When they see the Bobcats score a goal, they can't panic. They have to keep with what they've been doing for the first quarter and a half right now, and not make some of these silly mistakes that we've seen them do on some of these passes.
And needless to say, Mike, they don't want to give up a goal here and have the lead go all the way down to 2 once it was up to 4.
No, that would be a momentum killer.
Lees-McRae loses the ball. Reese has it for the Knights. He loses the ball. And finally, it looks like Colin Maxfield's going to track it down for the Knights.
And you see there's a lot of skill level out there for the Bobcats. They're just not able to connect with each other. A lot of fancy passing going on when some just basic fundamental passes would do the job.
Nice effort by the Knights to work it upfield, and then they lose it. Back comes Lees-McRae.
Oh, nice try on a give and go. Wasn't able to connect. The defensive transition was there for the Knights.
Bangutter had it, lost it. Lost his stick was lost by a Lees-McRae player. Bangutter finally picks it up back up. Sloppy play for both teams, Mike, but maybe also caused by some really aggressive defense.
Aggressive defense, and it's still raining out there. The gloves are getting a little slick, so we could probably see some sticks come out of people's hands a little bit more as the game continues.
Now the Knights will try to slow it down and try to get a goal here to get that lead back up to 4. Knights trying to get a victory in their final game of this 2015 season, trying to get win number 2 on the season. Bangutter works through a defender, fires a shot, blocked away, scooped up by Lees-McRae. Turnbull trying to jar it loose. Bobcats trying to get a clear here to get on the offensive attack.
And you can see the defense really coming up, trying to put pressure on the Bobcats, and almost was able to do so, and looks like they did cause a turnover.
So both teams really in the last couple of minutes, Mike, really having problems with turnovers.
Oh, and they're going to say that it went off one of the nightsticks.
So it's going to go over to Lees-McRae. No turnover there.
And looks like it'll be a timeout called by
A lot
Coach
of
Lamb.
timeouts in this first half. It may well be because of the weather.
That, and both teams really want to get that last win of the season. So Coach Lamb's really...
I think Coach Lamb also wants to know why it's Lees-McRae ball and not his.
Yeah, he's questioning, how could you see that tip off of a stick that far away when the official right there at it called it or didn't call it?
And I don't know, maybe there's a certain amount of frustration of just being rained on.
Well, and a cold rain, and the rain has started to pick up. When we first started, Jim, it was a
That's
nice
right.
sprinkle.
We're not being rained on right now.
That's right. It was a nice sprinkle, but as you can see now, it's really starting to pick up. The weathermen said that we were starting having the harder rain as we get later into the PM, and around 2-3 o'clock, it's supposed to really start coming down.
Which will be right to the end of the fourth period, probably.
Yeah. Unless we go into overtime.
So right now the Knights are on top by 3. And this really is a crucial 4 minutes and 40 seconds leading up until halftime. Both teams would like to make a charge here. The Knights away from Lees-McRae, and Lees-McRae with a couple of goals trying to maybe get it by halftime, perhaps within 1 or maybe tied by halftime.
With 15 minutes left to go at Salisbury, Salisbury has scored another goal, so it's 3-6 now over Mary Washington.
Oh, Mary Washington keeping it pretty close, though.
They are keeping it very close. But when you're playing at Salisbury, it's just very hard to overcome. If they can beat Salisbury, they deserve to go on into the finals and also to go into the NCAA tournament.
And I know both men's and women's team for Salisbury, they had some tough early season losses against very, very good competition. But both those teams, men and women's lacrosse team, playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Yes, they are. Finally found that chemistry mix. You lose 2 or 3 people off of a national championship team. It takes a few games to get that chemistry back when you replace them. And towards the end of the season, it looks like both teams have really found that.
Knights trying to get a defensive stop here. Pass right in middle. And a score by Lees-McRae. Tough save for Derek Lamb to make. It went past him. And now Lees-McRae with a couple of goals. After falling behind by 4, they have cut the lead down to 2 at 6-4 now.
And that's one of the few times we've seen one of the Bobcats being able to get inside the defense of the Knights and make any type of play at the goal.
And now we'll see how the Knights respond to that goal. They've done a pretty good job, Mike, after a couple of Lees-McRae goals to respond with a goal of their own, and they really need one here to get that lead back up. But right now it's just down to 2.
Yeah, they want to attack as well as they can right now to make sure that they keep the momentum on their side. Even if they don't score, as long as they can keep the Bobcats from scoring and go into halftime with this 2-goal lead, they'd be feeling pretty good about what they did in the first half.
Knights have possession. Peterson's got it right now after Anderson brought it over to him. Just have to avoid the turnovers. Turnovers have really killed the Knights here. Otherwise, we could be talking maybe about a 5 or 6 goal lead for Southern Virginia.
And most of them were unforced turnovers, just some bad passes that happened without any real pressure.
But again, as you mentioned, the weather obviously could have a big impact on these turnovers. Here is Bangerter trying to find an opening. He's got 1 goal today. Gets it over to Anderson. He loses it momentarily. It is scooped up by Anthony Good, who gets it over to Casey Rich, who's still looking for his first goal today.
And you've seen the adjustment by the Bobcats now. They're starting to pack it in when the ball's out in front of the goal. They're really packing it in, trying to deny any type of movement towards the goal.
Rich with a shot after going through a couple of defenders and missing. But the Knights still have it. Peterson. Under 3 minutes now left until halftime. Knights have outshot Lees-McRae, Mike, in this first half, but still the lead is down to 2.
Yeah, so far they have 10 shots on goal to 6 for the Bobcats.
Turnbull with a shot, and it's deflected away.
But these are great shots that are being taken. The Bobcats are really trying to collapse in, which gives the Knights the chance to retain possession.
Yeah, because the Knights have a player behind the goal. Here's a long shot taken and scored. Bangerter has his second goal of this first half.
And that's almost a replay of his first goal that he scored. Again, they're laying off of Bangerter. He's about 15 yards away. He's able to tuck it in that right top corner and just put some steam on it that the goalie can't react to.
And so again, the Knights respond to a Lees-McRae goal with a goal of their own to make it back to a 3-goal lead, now 7-4. Still, a lot can happen in the final couple of minutes here, Mike, and I know Jason Lamb would like to see a couple of more goals and really maybe go into halftime with a 4 or 5 goal lead.
Well, the face-off is so important right now. If the Knights can retain on this face-off, the chance of them going in with at least a 3-goal lead jumps up tremendously.
Knights trying to get possession of it, and they do. Shot to Kayla. Over to Reese.
And now the Knights just need a replay of what they did on that last possession. Multiple shots, make sure that they collapse the defense, and then if Mike Bangerter gets out open in that right wing or left wing area, take it.
And a shot taken by Peterson. He couldn't get it to go. Had a good look at it after he went through a couple of defenders, and now Lees-McRae has it.
Yeah, Lees-McRae again switched up their defense, went back to that pressure defense, really following all the Knights way out onto the field.
Lees-McRae clears, gets into the offensive area with 1:30 to go now until halftime.
But you notice all the Knights that are back on defense.
Knights have given up 2 goals in the first, 2 goals in the second. Lees-McRae trying to get their 5th goal. Shot deflected away. Derek Lamb came charging out of the goal in an effort to get possession for the Knights, but it's Lees-McRae ball. They drop a pass down low and score to make it 7-5 with 70 seconds left in the period.
And now Lees-McRae is starting to hit on some of those little drop shots or drop passes that they've attempted so far into this game. They're starting to connect on those now. The Knights are going to have to make a little bit of change on their defense.
I was going to say, if that continues, Mike, this could be anybody's game in the second half. And it looks like nobody's going to be able to pull away in this kind of ball game.
Well, right now the Knights want to get possession, maintain possession, and take the last shot. They don't want to give Lees-McRae a chance to run their offensive transition down and pull within 1.
Yeah, it could be huge. If the Knights can somehow do that, score a goal, maybe take a 3-goal lead in at halftime, it would be different, much different than if Lees-McRae cuts the thing down to 1.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of talking over on that sideline if they let Lees-McRae come back to within 1.
And right now the Knights are just trying to work it up with 52 seconds to go.
Shoe comes off of Ryan Larson. They call the ball down. Ryan runs out.
Anderson will take it. 52 seconds left till halftime.
The Knights need to clear the ball to the offensive end.
Just got to avoid a turnover here, Mike.
Looks like Lees-McRae is trying to form some type of trap.
Turnbull gets through 3 defenders. There was somebody I think was saying hold it to the point they maybe wanted to play for a shot, and Rich scores.
Off the deflection on the ground ball, the ball went up in the air. Rich was just able to get his stick on it just long enough to redirect it back into the goal.
I could have swore somebody was saying hold it maybe for the last shot of the half, but it works out for the Knights.
I think I heard the same thing, Jim. Hold it, hold it, hold it.
So the Knights are able to get an 8-5 lead. There's still 30 seconds to go, so anybody can score here in the final 30 seconds. And the Knights would love to do it to maybe take a 4-goal lead at halftime. And again, the draw is so important here.
And if that was Coach Lamb saying hold it, hold it, hold it, he was over there, no, yes. But I'm telling you, at halftime, he will address that and let them know when I say hold it, I mean hold it.
Well, if the Knights can score twice in the final 1 minute, I'm sure Jason would like that even more.
Yeah, but
battle for the draw. Knights have it. Larson's got it. 22 seconds to go. And a penalty. Larson went down to the turf.
And the Knights have done a fabulous job on the faceoffs in this first half. They've won the majority of them. I'd say at least 75% of the faceoffs they've won. And
They've done a good job on the draws, the ground balls, the clearing. Just maybe one too many turnover for Jay Salam, I'm sure. But all in all, a very good first half for the Knights.
yeah, they're having just a great game all the way around. You asked earlier, is he more pleased with the offense or the defense? And I think it's just the total game right now that he is just ecstatic about.
Peterson with just 15 seconds left at halftime. We'll see if the Knights get a shot off. A good shot. Bangert, who's got a couple of goals.
And they have a man up, so they should be able to find a.
To Bangerter, but we're down to 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Are they going to get a shot off?
I don't think anybody knows.
Nope. And the Knights will go into halftime, Mike, with a big 3-goal lead, 8-5.
Well, that's a great way for the Knights to end the half, is with that 3-goal lead after the way they've played. They've limited the mistakes. Really, the only mistakes they've made have been ones that they've done themselves, and that can be cleaned up pretty easily in the second half.
So we're at halftime, and your score is Southern Virginia 8 and Lees-McRae 5. We'll come back for the second half and take a little break here. We'll come back for second half action in just a few minutes, so stay with us. Jim Bresnahan, Mike Harmon. Again, we are back here at the fields at Southern Virginia University. Men's lacrosse action. First half score, Southern Virginia 8 and Lees-McRae 5. And the stats really looking pretty good in that first half, Mike, for Southern Virginia when it comes to shots, when it comes to ground balls, when it comes to clears.
Yeah, but the most telling stat was the face-offs. 12 out of 15 the Knights were able to secure, and that goes to where they're at the lead right now.
Both teams ran into problems in that second period with turnovers. 10 in the second period for Lees-McRae, 8 turnovers for Southern Virginia. If they don't have those kind of turnovers, if they can play maybe a little bit better with the ball in the second period, instead of a 3-goal halftime lead, it could be up to 5 or 6.
Yeah, the turnovers that Lees-McRae had were forced turnovers.
Yep.
We saw that by the defense that the Knights were able to play. Obviously, the turnovers that the Knights had were some of the unforced. So starting in this third period now, they're still a man up.
Nice pass.
Oh, off the cage.
Oh, boy, almost a good shot by Russell Anderson. It was a nice pass by Bangutter, who got a couple of goals in that first period. Then he loses the ball, battles for it, picked up by Anderson. Over to Larson. He fires a shot. It's blocked. Loose ball on the ground, and finally pulled away by Lees-McRae momentarily.
Oh, no.
Now the Knights have it. It is Larson firing a shot. He scores.
A lot of scrambling going on. Great job by the Knights to keep at it and get that goal.
And Ryan Larson just wound up with the ball right point blank in front of the goal. Didn't allow the goalkeeper any time to prepare for that shot. And the Knights now have a 4-point lead here, 9-5 now. Matching their biggest lead, not only of today, but of the entire season.
And that was just a great effort by all the Knights. We saw the ball bang off the cage a couple times off the pipes, but they were able to stay with it, find the ball that was popped loose, and Ryan Larson was the recipient of just a gift goal.
And now we'll see, as we saw earlier in the first half, the Knights possibly, Mike, for the first time this season, maybe take a 5-goal lead and try to put some distance, ideally, between themselves and the Bobcats.
Knights will start off with the ball. So there's another face-off one.
Knights will go on to the attack, trying to get a 5-goal lead for the first time this season. I believe they had a 5-1 lead against Cobleskill. And, of course, a 4-goal lead at times today. And right now, here's Turnbull. He's got a goal today. A lot of people have scored, Mike, but not Casey Rich so far. He's still looking for his first goal. Came in with 33 on the season.
Yeah, and as the time wears on, I'm sure he'll get his shots.
Anthony Good gets that ball into the goal after he got knocked down by a defender, and the Knights, for the first time this season, have a 5-goal advantage. That was one of the better and more athletic plays of a Knights player all season long.
Yeah, as he was falling down, he just flipped the ball back behind him. Knew where the goal was just hoping that it would skip past the goalie, and it did.
So he's got his 3rd goal today, 25th on the season, I believe. And now the Knights, for the first time this year, have a 5-goal advantage, 10-5. You'd like to say this one's out of distance, but obviously we'll have to wait for the 4th period for something like that.
Yeah, we'll wait until the final horn goes off to say anything.
Knights had the ball, lost a stick, but maintained control as Anthony Goods got it. Over to Larson. Knights have played very well here in the first minute and a half. Led 8-5 at halftime. They quickly have scored a couple of goals here in the opening minutes of the 3rd period. Trying to make sure they don't lose this ball. Good had it, popped it up in the air. He lost it momentarily. Ball is knocked away and out of bounds and goes over to Lees-McRae.
Well, we'll see if the Knights continue to play this tough, physical brand of defense in this second half.
Lees-McRae trying to clear. And that's been maybe their strong point today with their clears. Now we'll see if Lees-McRae can go on a successful attack and get a goal. They work it down low.
Oh, nice.
Derek Lamb with a nice block. And the Knights have possession and a chance to go back on the attack themselves now.
That was just a great individual effort there by Derek Lamb. It was a point-blank shot, and he was able to get his stick up and just not only block the ball but maintain possession for the Knights.
I have to check the scores, Mike, this season to see what's the least amount the Knights have given up as far as goals this season for an entire game, because they have given up on many occasions, obviously, double digits. And right now they've only allowed 5. Still a long way to go, obviously, in the second half. But Derek Lamb's had a great ball game, too.
Yeah, and the defense in front of them has just been outstanding.
So the Knights on the attack trying to take a 6-goal lead for the first time this season. Anderson's got it right now. Charging towards the goal. Shot blocked by Lombardo. Anderson scoops up his own miss. Gets it over to Peterson, who's got a couple of goals today. Knights working it around, looking for an opening here.
Great patience by the Knights.
Turnbull to Anderson. Shot no good. Deflected out. Picked up by the Knights. Mike Anderson. Now Peterson with it behind the goal. Nice pass to Turnbull.
Nice.
He scores his second goal. What a pass by Peterson. Knights by 6.
And that's the second time we've seen Peterson come out from behind the goal, drag the defense with him, and find someone cutting toward the goal.
For the second time today, Turnbull charging down the middle and getting a nice pass. First time from Casey Rich, that time from Peterson.
Just nice offensive execution.
And a great beginning, Mike, to this third period. We have played nearly 4 minutes. The Knights have outscored Lees-McRae 3-0.
And you asked, what was the least amount of goals that the Knights have given up in the season so far? And it's 10, and that was against Cobleskill.
Or actually Hood.
Oh, yeah, Hood College, 8-7.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that was a tough loss, of course. We all recall that one back in February.
Yes.
Doing a basketball game, and that was a game that I'm sure the Knights thought about maybe for at least a few weeks, about a game that could have been picked up as a victory.
Yeah, they came in with 17 seconds to go. The game was tied up and gave up that last goal.
High shot by Lees-McRae over the goal. Still their ball with 11:04 to go here in the third period. 18 shots on goal now for the Knights. Just 9 shots on goal for Lees-McRae. Knights have really come out on all cylinders here, firing and dominating this third period, Mike. They've outscored Lees-McRae now 3-0.
And again, just because they've been able to play so
nice pass.
Again, another
and a goal.
And it did just barely dribble in.
It looked like Derek Lamb had the save, but the ball deflects off and goes in to make it 11-6. So Lees-McRae trying to battle back now. Gets a goal, their first goal of the second half, to cut the deficit back down to 5.
Well, the Knights, again, have done such a great job on the faceoffs. We're looking for them to win the faceoff, maintain possession in the offensive end, looking for those easy goals going towards the goal. They could run off another minute or two very easily.
Knights had his 6-goal lead. Now it's down to 5. Battle for this faceoff goes to Southern Virginia again, as Ryan Larson's got it.
You see Ryan get into the offensive zone or offensive box and then come back out. He's battling some injuries, so he's in there just to win the faceoffs and then go out for the Knights.
Here's Peterson. Now Anthony Good. Turnbull's got a couple of goals today. Good's got, I believe, 3. Peterson's got a couple. Casey Rich still looking for his first goal, though.
And in women's lacrosse, it's gone final. Salisbury beat Mary Washington 6-4.
Tough battle.
Very tough battle.
You wonder about who else besides Salisbury in both the men and the women might get at-large bids.
Yeah, that's going to be up to the NCAA tournament directors and all. And if I had votes, I know we'd get at least 2 of the Capital Conference teams in. Just starting in women's lacrosse, St. Mary's at York, and York is up 2-1 with 23 minutes to go in the first half.
Anderson works it around the middle, gets it over to Bangarter. Peterson, the good. Knights trying to respond to that Lees-McRae goal and get the lead back up to 6 here in the third period. Bangarter, long shot, deflects by the goalkeeper. Knights will still have it. Bangarter's got a couple of goals today from long shots.
And he's done a great job of taking that ball to the upper right corner with a lot of speed.
Casey Rich looks for an opening. He passes way outside. That pass is too high. I think he was trying to get that over to Bangarter. Turnover for the Knights, and right back on the attack goes Lees-McRae, as Lees-McRae trying maybe for a little goal flurry here themselves. They just scored to make the deficit down to 5. They're trying to score again, maybe get it down to 4 now. And Lees-McRae shoots. Nice save by Derek Lamb, scooped up by Maxfield. And now the Knights can go back on the attack. It's got to be the one thing that Jason Lamb doesn't want to see the Knights do is turn it over. Allow Lees-McRae, maybe Mike, to perhaps make a little run here.
Yeah,
wants to keep the pressure on. And
again,
another bad pass.
2 unforced turnovers.
Knights almost have it. They do a good job from keeping it from going out of bounds momentarily, but now Lees-McRae tries to battle for it. A couple of Knights over there. Good finally gets it. He's near the out of bounds marker, and the ball pops out of bounds. And so Lees-McRae looks like they're going to come away with it.
And there we see their charge to clear it to the other end, and that's been their best weapon so far, has been able to run the ball down the field.
I wonder how often they'll actually grab it and go so the referees can't make a call the other way.
I'm sure the referees...
Because it looked like Anthony Good wanted somebody to step in and whistle the ball over for Southern Virginia. Knights will get it back and take possession with a 5-goal lead here. And you wonder, Mike, once we get into the fourth period, if they can maintain a 4, 5, 6-goal lead. At one point, if any, in the fourth period, you start to really kind of sit on the ball, so to speak.
I'm sure that they're sitting on the ball is going to still be in attack mode.
And Peterson scores to make it 12-6. And just like before, Mike, the Knights respond to a Lees-McRae goal with a goal of their own.
And goal assisted on, too. So that's what's making the big difference in this game is all the assists on the goals.
This looks like a much more team-oriented offense than we've seen earlier this season.
Well, I think it's a more efficient offense. I know that they have always been looking for each other, just haven't been able to make the passes connect, and so that would lead to I don't want to make mistakes, so I'm going to try to just keep it myself. But now we're seeing them connect on the passes, and it's just becoming a very efficient offensive machine.
And so Southern Virginia is on top now by 6, 12-6. Larson tries to win the draw. Ball's on the field and scooped up by the Knights, and they've got it on offense again. Here is Peterson behind the goal, waiting for his teammates to catch up. In many cases, Peterson has really been the instigator of the offense today.
He has been the catalyst for a lot of the goals. May not have been the one to make the assist on the goal, but has started a lot of offensive movement.
Mike Anderson scores, and the Knights for the first time this season have a 7-goal advantage now, 13-6. Mike Anderson gets his first goal today. And I believe that is going to be his first goal all season long. He's done such a great job at times this season, Mike, of moving the ball upfield. Good clearing player, but he gets his first goal of the season, and it comes at a great time to put the Knights on top now by 7, their biggest lead today and biggest lead of the season.
And you're starting to see some smiles on the sideline of the Knights. Again, Coach Lamb and his staff are going to be working to make sure that those smiles maintain a very business-like nature, because they know that they still have a period and a half left.
Can you use this as a recruiting tool, by the way, this kind of the video of this kind of victory,
Oh,
if it goes on to be a victory?
I'm sure you can, and I'm sure that Coach Lamb and his staff will be using just not the video, but also the outcome of it if they go ahead to win and say, look, this is what we've done all season long. We've progressed to this point. We would like you to come in and help us progress further to take on the Salisburys, the Frostburgs, the St. Marys.
Because as we've talked in the past, and it's not just the men and women too, but I mean you've got to do it in stages. Get up a couple of steps and then take the next step, and you wonder, boy, what's it going to take? As Anthony Good tries a behind the back shot while he's getting pounded in the face, but it makes you wonder what's it going to take to get up to the next step, the big step at the very top of the ladder where Salisbury is.
That's going to take just a massive recruiting effort, not only to bring in the great players, but bring in the number of great players, because we saw Salisbury could run in 3 or 4 lines, and even though they were freshmen,
want quality and quantity.
Exactly. You don't want anything to fall down. So your second line needs to be as good as your first, and your third line needs to be good as your second and the first. So that's the next step, is getting the numbers up.
Nice save by Derek Lamb on a low shot. Up until then, I think they had only had 4 saves. I think that was the 5th, Mike. And Derek Lamb really has done a great job, but he hasn't seen anywhere near, I guess, the barrage of shots as we've seen in past games.
No, and that goes to the defense that the Knights have been playing.
Another shot taken by the Knights by Anderson again. Ball deflected out.
Anderson with a heat check there. Wanted to make sure.
Lees-McRae back the other way in a hurry, and they score in a low shot to make it 13-7. That didn't take long at all for Lees-McRae going the other way, and now the Bobcats are back to within 6 with 4:50 to go, third period. We'll see exactly how the Knights respond to that Lees-McRae goal.
That offensive transition has been Lees-McRae's best asset this game. We see Ryan Larson back in to, again, win and control the faceoff. And you see the rain starting to come down just a little bit harder.
And you don't want to go off on 1-on-1 or kind of get out of control when you got that kind of advantage going on. They had a 7-goal lead. You just want to keep playing your kind of game, the game that really got you that 7-goal lead.
Yeah, stick with the game plan. No matter what the score is, stick with the game plan, and usually things will come out on a good end for you.
And it looks like it's going to be awarded to Lees-McRae with 4:45 to go to the end of this third period. So the Bobcats on the attack. They are trying to score again. A little 2-goal flurry, which would pull them within 5 if they could score another goal here. Maxfield defending right there. They try the right side of the goal for a shot, and Lees-McRae scores again to make it 13-8. So the Bobcats trying to close the deficit here, Mike. Right before the end of this third period, they were trailing by 7. Now they're only down by 5.
Yeah, that's one of the first times we've seen the defense really let down. They cleared out one side of the field and was able to circle in from behind the goal, and just that's, again, just a total breakdown on the defense.
So suddenly the Knights were pulling away at 13-6 by outscoring Lees-McRae in this third period 5-1, and now Lees-McRae with a couple of goals to get the lead down to 5.
But that is the luxury of getting up by 7, is you can give up a few goals and still maintain a pretty good lead.
Each time the Knights, that Lees-McRae has attempted to make a run, the Knights have responded with a goal of their own. They could really use one here. And they get possession momentarily, but it's scooped up by Lees-McRae. They fire. Nice save. I was going to say a nice save by Lamb, but it rolled away from him into the goal. And now Lees-McRae, 3 straight goals, Mike. It's 13-9 now.
And this might be one of the times that Coach Lamb wants to take a timeout to remind his guys, hey, listen, this is...
Because the Knights actually had possession of that and lost it. And then it looked like a save for Lamb, but the ball rolled away from him into the goal, and suddenly it's now down to 4 after the Knights about a minute and a half ago had a 13-6 lead.
And that's how quickly fortunes can change in this game.
So Lees-McRae with a 3-goal flurry to get right back in the game, down by 4 now. Knights trying to get possession, but Lees-McRae has it. And they look like a different team here in the last couple of minutes.
They found their second wind and starting to find a lot of offensive efficiency.
And they shoot towards the goal and score again. Another goal for Lees-McRae. They have scored 4 times in the last couple of minutes and now have cut the lead all the way down to 3.
And now this is what's got to be very concerning for the coaching staff is, hey, fellas, we've played about 2.5 periods of great lacrosse. We can't let down now.
This kind of reminds you of the letdown like maybe Cobleskill had in the final 4 minutes of their game against the Knights back in March when they had a 3-goal lead and lost by 1. And now the Knights had a 7-goal lead. Now it's all the way down to 3. Still a good cushion, Mike, but now the Knights really need to find a goal to kind of stop the flow here and also try to build that lead back up.
Yeah, and you still got a period left to go.
Almost 19 minutes still left in this game. And the Knights still trying to battle for possession, to gain possession. Bangerter scoops it up, loses it, run into a couple of Lees-McRae players. The Bobcats have it back. Nice shot by Bangerter. But Lees-McRae is on the attack now, trying to get the lead down to 2. And the shot is wide left. And Derek Lamb's going to chase it down. So the Knights will have it with 3:11 to go. This is where you would love to maybe take a couple of minutes off the clock, but most importantly, score a goal.
Yeah, they need to get back to that offensive fluidity and efficiency that they've had.
This one almost seemed like it was in the Knights' favor. It dominated 13-6. Suddenly it's down to 3 now.
Well, they want to make things exciting. Don't want anybody to tune out.
That's right. They want to keep us tuned in for the 4th period.
Although none of the Knights fans would ever leave a game before it was over.
And right now the Knights look like they're just going to slow it down a little bit, Mike. If nothing else, try to break some momentum here.
Well, this is where they've had their successes when they've spread the Bobcats out and then ran some set plays.
Bangerter outside of Turnbull, who's got a couple of goals today. He misses wide, and it's still Knights ball. Of course, the other part of this is the Knights have scored 13 times, but no goals so far for Casey Rich. And that flurry of goals for Lees-McRae stops the Knights from achieving a record today, the lowest amount of goals they've given up all season. And also trying to keep it at single digits.
Yeah, they won't mind giving up more goals.
Good
if they can keep on
scores. Anthony Good, a big goal there. Huge goal for the Knights to boost the lead back to 4. And I believe Anthony's got 4 goals today?
Yes, and he's just bulling his way through people.
26 now for the season. He's making a run at Casey, who's got 33. Casey came in by 11, the top goal scorer for the Knights this season, but Anthony Good's got 4 goals today now.
And that was a great momentum stopper for the Knights. They were able to go down, settle into their offense, and then Anthony just took it on himself, saying, you can't stop me if I'm going to the goal.
And, of course, it shows, Mike, how important just possession is, whether we're talking about draws or turnovers.
Yeah, unfortunately, the possession arrow for the last minute and a half, 2 minutes, has gone over towards the Bobcats. That one possession right there may restore some order back into the Knights.
They're checking the stick, though. Checking the cross.
And it's good.
Got to be tough, as we mentioned, when you've got, like Lees-McRae had there, a 3-goal flurry, all within a minute and a half. It's just like I would imagine boxing. You take a quick 1-2 to the face, and it's tough to recover from that.
Yeah, and the Knights did a good job to recover from that 3-goal flurry, but that's appears that's the way the Bobcats play, is they'll score in quick flurries, but can't sustain it. Hopefully the Knights again can build that lead back up, and then in the 4th quarter be able to sustain that lead.
Knights have possession. Here comes Reese. He's looked pretty good too at times, moving the ball up and down the field. Now good. Minute 40 to go. Knights would love to get the last goal or two of this third period to try to boost this lead up into 5 or 6 by the start of the fourth period. Knights have really slowed it down here in the last 10-15 seconds. It is Bangerter inside to Anthony Good. He spins and shoots and misses.
Oh, and if he would have gotten for the
had
right,
a good look at it.
If he would have gone for the right corner instead of the left corner, the near corner, I think he would have had a better opportunity.
Of course,
to score.
I'm going to guess when you're spinning around like that, you don't have a whole lot of time to either look or decide.
Well, I know that they practice a lot. Those goal scorers practice a lot on all kinds of shots. So
Casey Rich with a nice pass to Bangerter. Oh, he gets it over to Anthony Good, but Good wasn't ready for that pass. Turnover for the Knights, and the ball goes over to Lees-McRae momentarily. Knights knock it away, picked up by Peterson. He'll shoot and score.
And there's that defensive pressure that we've seen all game long.
Forcing the turnover and getting the ball once Lees-McRae turned it over, Mike, and Lees-McRae just obviously not in a defensive position to defend that. And 2 quick goals by the Knights. That lead now back up to 5. Highest it's been is 7.
Yeah, Lees-McRae usually sends their goalkeeper out to help with ball reversal. Got caught out of position when Peterson had the ball. He had just gotten back into the crease, and Peterson took advantage of him.
So now the Knights slowly but surely building that lead back up. And they would love to get possession here, maybe close out the final 45 seconds of the period with another goal.
And now we're starting to see the Knights regain time of possession, especially after winning off the faceoff.
Now let's see if Southern Virginia really tries to hold on to the ball here, Mike, and play for the last possession, or if they just go for the goal. It's Anthony Good passing the ball to Bangerter. His shot is blocked away by Lombardo, the goalie, who gets the ball, runs through 3 defenders, takes a tumble, passes inside. No penalty calls. Goalie went down. And are they going to call a penalty here? Lombardo, haven't seen that much this season, Mike. Lombardo, the goalkeeper, with the ball, trying to run through 3 defenders, takes a tumble, all with 20 seconds to go.
Yeah, an unfortunate penalty called now with 20 seconds left. Coach Lamb can't believe what was going on.
Knights just haven't really made the effort to really hold the ball to the last 10 or 15 seconds, where if they don't score, nobody scores to end the period.
Again, that's learning how to play with that lead instead of always being in a rush. We got to catch up. We got to catch up.
Lees-McRae will try to score in the final few seconds of this period to get the lead back down to 4 with just 12 seconds to go. Knights trying to defend here. Lees-McRae loses the ball, picked up by the Knights with just 5 seconds to go.
And they'll do good just to hang on to it, run the period out.
And that's what they'll do. We have played 3 periods, Mike, and the Knights have a 5-goal lead here.
And a wonderful way to respond. We saw Lees-McRae come out within about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, halfway through the third period, able to score 3 goals in a row. The Knights are able to regain their composure and then regain a 5-point lead. In Capital Tournament Conference play for the men's side, Mary Washington's playing at Frostburg, and Mary Washington is ahead 2-1 with 11 minutes to go in the second period.
So a tight battle there. Frostburg, I believe, was the number 2 team.
Yes.
Right behind Salisbury all season long. Never easy to beat Mary Washington in almost any sport.
No, they're a very good athletic program, and they bring in a lot of really good coaches.
We saw them very early in the season, and all I recall from them, I think they won that game by 10, but they were one of the more patient teams we've seen.
Very patient, very precise. Wouldn't get rattled and just ran their offense until they found what they wanted.
Well, the Knights will start this fourth period with a 5-goal lead. They led at halftime, 8-5, had a great start to the third period, got the lead up to 7, saw the lead go all the way down to 3, had that lead at 13-6, 4-goal flurry by Lees-McRae got it down to 13-10, and now the Knights with a couple of goals to finish off the third period. They outscored Lees-McRae in the third period 7-5 and start the fourth period, Mike, with a 5-goal lead.
And again, now we're going to see what the philosophy is. Are you going to, Coach Lamb, are you going to try to maintain possession each time and try to run a minute or two off the clock? Or are you going to allow them to keep attacking at will?
And a lot of offense in the third period, 12 total goals, where in the first half we only had 13 total goals for each team.
I think both teams starting to find their groove offensively, and unfortunately we saw a few letdowns on both sides on the defensive end.
And for the Knights, maybe it depends on the first few minutes of this fourth period, Mike, as to what, whether they can start to pull away or whether Lees-McRae will make a charge at them. But if the Knights are fortunate enough to maybe get a few goals and get this thing up to 7 or 8 eventually, do they just keep playing, or do they try to maybe reduce the clock a little bit?
Again, that's something that we'll have to see what Coach Lamb's philosophy is. The Knights hadn't been in this position during the season. And
yeah,
so
they've only won one game, the Cobblesville game, and in that one, there's a goal by Casey Rich. His first goal today, his 34th of the season, Mike, and he gets it at an important time, the start of the fourth quarter.
And you knew that he was going to score. It was just a matter of when.
As we mentioned, they really haven't been in this position before. The Cobblesville game, they had to come from behind in the final 4 minutes. That was their only victory this season. So the Knights not used to being ahead in the fourth period with this kind of a 6-goal advantage.
And I'm sure we won't see them, if they do start to slow things down, we won't start to see that until at least the 6 or 7 minute mark.
And they do say so often that once you get to a big advantage, 6, 7 goals, it's very difficult to come from behind. We'll see if that philosophy or that statement usually holds true.
And now the penalty on the Bobcats.
And that'll give the Knights a chance maybe here to really start to pull away a little bit.
Yeah, they'll have a man-up advantage, and we'll see what type of set that the Knights run to take advantage of this.
Southern Virginia's biggest lead was at 1.7 at 13-6. And they have led throughout. Not sure. I don't think Lees-McRae has ever had the lead today.
No, they never have, and that's, again, something new for the Knights, something to build on
to
for
lead
next
from
year.
Start to finish, yeah.
Yes.
They'd probably have to pull out the record books for past victories to see if the Knights have ever led a game from start to finish. Here's a shot taken wide by Peterson. Casey Rich right there, though, to maintain possession. The Knights continue to lead on the scoreboard. Shots on goal 24-16. Nice pass there, and the shot left side is knocked away. Larson's shot. Knights still have it, though. Knights have really done a great job passing today.
They have. Their passing has been much more precise and crisp.
Larson now over to Bangutter. He'll fire a high shot. Knights will still have it.
And now you'll see back to full strength.
Casey Rich looking for an opening. Can't find anything right now.
But still, great patience by the Knights. Not trying to force anything. Trying to just run the offense that they've been so successful with.
Rich passing left side, threw it too high for Bangutter, and a penalty flag.
We'll have another man advantage, it looks like.
Going to go against the Lees-McRae Bobcats.
And the Knights being able to go with this man advantage, really they're slowing down a little bit, looking for the best shot possible. It's really working for them right now. Time is running off. We're not seeing a lot of high-risk passes. They're able to maintain a lot of possession.
When you're down by 6 like Lees-McRae is, every time a minute goes off the clock, that is really bad news for you. Larson out on top to Bangutter, who's got a couple of goals from outside today. Now Peterson over to Good. His shot blocked by the goalkeeper Lombardo. And Lees-McRae had it, lost it, picked up by Anthony Good momentarily. Looks like Lees-McRae will have the ball.
You see Coach Lamb telling them, get up, get up, get up. They're trying to keep that defensive pressure on them. And again, you see Lombardo, the goalie, way out of goal.
Good job by Casey Rich to strip the ball. And now he's got a
Watch him go to
one-on-one.
goal.
And Rich scores again. His second goal today. His 35th of the season. The Knights again have their biggest lead today and biggest lead of the season. Now a 7-goal advantage again at 17-10.
And again, you see that defensive pressure that they've been able to exert on the Bobcats really pay off for them.
That time Rich, Mike, was able to strip the ball and turn right around. When he turned around, he had no one in front of him except the goalkeeper.
And this is the type of defensive pressure we haven't seen all season long. They weren't able to run this against other teams that had more people than they did, just because of the sheer numbers factor and the fatigue factor that would set in. But again, we're starting to see some more of the philosophy of Coach Lamb and his coaching staff, and if they can bring in the numbers to run this for full games, this could be a fun team to watch.
And now the question becomes, in the final 12 minutes and 50 seconds, can they pull away, Mike, or are we going to see another 3-goal flurry here from Lees-McRae?
You can never count any team out, but as long as the Knights can continue to play that tough brand of physical defense, I think this is going to be a win at the very end.
Lees-McRae on the attack there, trying to score, and they do. 17-11, just like that. Lees-McRae gets a big goal. Every time the Knights start to pull away, the Bobcats fight back a little bit.
Well, fortunately, the Knights have built up a good lead that they can give up 2 or 3 goals, but it's really important now that they answer this one back. If they can come back and answer this one back now and just trade goals with the Bobcats, then, they can kind of start to feel that momentum in their favor.
Yeah, you get to wonder in the fourth period if you can have a 6 or 7 goal advantage at one point time-wise on the clock where it's almost impossible for the other team to come back. And we know the Knights in their victory over Kobalsko with 4 minutes to go, down by 3, they came back.
Yeah, we're looking at, if you're up by 5 or 6 with about 3 minutes to go, it's virtually it's improbable that the other team can win. I'm not going to say impossible, but if you're coming back from a 6-point deficit with less than 3 or right around 3, it's really improbable.
12:18 on the clock. Knights with a 6-goal advantage right now.
Now the umpires or referees are huddling, trying to figure out what call they're going to make.
As to who has possession.
And for the Knights to go down now by a man would be just not a good thing. We don't want to have any type of penalties that would cause a man advantage for Lees-McRae. And it looks like they're not going to call anything.
So it looks like Lees-McRae will have possession here, down by 6.
More discussions are going on.
See, the rain keeps coming down. See if the Knights defense can pick it up here and get the ball back for the offense. Pass comes down low, scooped up by Lees-McRae.
And right now you don't want to give up anything going to the middle of the field. You want to force the team out to the wide side.
Low shot missed by Lees-McRae. And Bobcats still have possession. Bobcats on the attack, ball knocked away momentarily by the Knights. Scooped up, though, by Lees-McRae again. They come to the left side, and the Knights steal the ball momentarily. And now the Bobcats have it.
But all these deflections are just signs of the Knights really playing some
Low shot,
tough.
Lees-McRae, they score. 17-12, and no sooner do the Knights pull on top by 7. Lees-McRae with a couple of goals, and now it's down to 5 again.
Again, the ball got to the middle of the field, and you've got to do everything you can to make sure that you're pushing the ball toward the sidelines and not let it get back to the middle. That just puts the goalkeeper Derek Lamb in just harm's way.
Yeah, when you get those shots right towards the middle, right in front of the goal, there's not a whole lot many goalkeepers can do. You'll get the occasional save, but it's very tough to ask a goalkeeper to stop shots like that. Now, who's going to win this draw? Knights battling for it. And they're going to battle their defensive end for this ball.
Still on the ground.
And a penalty.
We got the referee with the flag down and his hat off. So 2 fouls have to be coming up.
Knights don't want to let this game get away from them, Mike. They had a 7-goal lead. Now it's 5. They were hoping to pull away here in the 4th period, not allow Lees-McRae to make a charge.
Yeah, or at least maintain that lead that they've worked so hard to get coming into the 4th.
Knights came in 1-14 of the season. Lees-McRae 2-12. See what the call here is. Maxfield went off. You get the feeling, Mike, this next really 3-4 minutes of this 4th period could be crucial for the Knights if they want to pick up at the very end of the season their 2nd win of the season.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough penalty kill for the Knights. If they can kill this penalty and not allow a goal.
And they score again. Lees-McRae scores again to make it 17-13. Low shot again. And the Bobcats now trail, I believe, by 4.
Well, finishing off the game is something that the Knights are having to learn how to do. This whole game has been a great learning process for them. How do we play with the lead? Well, we got the lead going into halftime. What do we need to do now? We saw them come out after halftime being able to score quickly.
And it's happened twice now. They've had 7-goal leads that have been cut to 4 twice. It was 13-6. It got down to 13-10. They got it up to 17-10, Mike, and now it's 17-13.
Now, winning this face-off is going to be of the utmost importance for the Knights to get back into that possession-type game that they like.
And Ryan Larson trying to win it, but the draw goes to Lees-McRae.
And you still got the Knights with a man down.
And Lees-McRae trying to get a quick goal here to maybe cut the lead all the way down to 3. Shot taken. Score again by Lees-McRae from outside. That one a long shot from about 10-15 yards away, and I get a low shot past Derek Lamb. It's now 17-14. So the Knights had a 17-10 lead. This one looked like to be solidly in Southern Virginia's favor, and now Lees-McRae is only down by 3 with lots of time still to go. 10:39 on the clock.
When you start losing men to penalties, they have to sit out. That puts your team at such a hard spot to try to defend from. The Knights, again, good job of building up that lead so if this happens, they can afford a few goals to go away.
Bangutter's going to take this draw for the Knights, but the draw again goes to Lees-McRae.
Yeah, the Knights just haven't been able to win the face-offs the last 3 or 4 of them, and that's been their bread and butter for most of this game is winning those face-offs.
Well, Lees-McRae trying to cut the lead down to 2. Been a while since they've been that close. Knights looking for a big defensive stand here. Shot down low, point-blank pass, and an easy shot, and suddenly it's 17-15. Nice pass that time by Lees-McRae to get it right in front of the goalkeeper, And a 5-goal flurry by Lees-McRae. They have cut a 7-goal deficit all the way down to 2 with still 10-11 on the clock.
Man, this has all happened within 2 minutes. Just very quick offensive execution and very quick reflexes again by the Bobcats. We've seen them miss those passes earlier on in the period or in the game in the first half, and now they're starting to connect on those.
Well, so
those
much
quick
for
little
pulling
passes.
away, huh?
Yeah,
And now, right now, the Knights just need to win possession here with Ryan Larson taking the draw and try to get a goal to stem this tide by Lees-McRae. At least they've got the ball now, and we'll see if the Knights can convert this into a goal as Mike Anderson comes charging upfield. Knights can't be thinking about the clock now, Mike. They've got to be thinking about getting a goal to try to get a little bit of a cushion back at maybe a 2-goal lead, change it into 3.
Yeah, but again, they still need to play their offense to their game plan and not worry about, I need to score this goal myself right now because we've lost some goals. They need to keep with the team game plan.
It's got like almost any sport. You give up a lot of a lead, you can't really look backwards. You got to look forwards. It's easier said than done, I'm sure.
Very much so. And again, the Knights really haven't been able to have this luxury of playing from ahead before.
Peterson's double team back there. He's looking for someone to get it to.
And a turnover.
He took a tumble, and there was no penalty flag.
It looks like they may call it a timeout. Coach Lamb called a timeout to settle the troops down, remind them of how we wanted to play, and say don't worry about giving up those few goals. Let's move from this point forward.
Just amazing the way things can turn around. Now, of course, we mentioned earlier when the Knights had a 7-goal lead earlier in the game at 13-6. We saw that 4-goal flurry that got it to 13-10. The Knights immediately scored 4 goals themselves to get it back up to 17-10. And Lees-McRae has come charging back with 5 straight goals, 5 unanswered goals.
And a lot of those goals scored was playing with a man down, the Knights. Just shows you how important it is to be at full strength to play this game. In Capital Conference tournament play, on the men's side, we have Mary Washington and Frostburg knotted up at 3 with a minute to go in the second period.
Mary Washington trying to challenge in the Capital Conference in both men's and women's action today. And the question remains, I guess, in both those tournaments is who can beat Salisbury, if anybody.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to beat them if Salisbury helps you out by doing some uncharacteristic things, turning the ball over quickly, not making some wide open shots. Then you have a great chance to beat them, but that's something that Salisbury is known for, is not beating themselves.
Well, we were talking about how this final score might entail as Casey Rich had a shot blocked by Lombardo, whether it was going to be a low-scoring and high-scoring affair. I think I joked it was 15-14 finals. And at times it looks like the Knights have played good defense. And that time they get a turnover. Here comes Turnbull back their way, passes it upfield to Casey Richin right past him. And so the Knights look like they're going to give it back to Lees-McRae with 8:52 to go in the game.
Again, it was the right person to pass it to, just the pass needed to be a little bit more precise. And again, in the conditions and the fatigue that's setting in, that's something that you really have to concentrate on and fall back on your technique.
Yeah, some people will see these bad passes and wonder how they're happening, Mike. But as you mentioned, it's not easy. It's easier said than done making these passes.
Yeah, especially with these young men running up and down the field all day long. They don't get to take a lot of breaks because of the numbers game that they have, and it's just something that starts to wear on you, and fatigue starts to set in, and your technique starts to tumble just a little bit.
Giroux almost lost the ball. He did lose it. It's scooped up again by Lees-McRae. Each team had possession there but lost it. And maybe another timeout being taken here.
I think Lees-McRae called a timeout.
And there's no sense saving timeouts for either side with this being the fourth period, Mike. And Southern Virginia trying to protect this 2-goal lead. Lees-McRae with 5 unanswered goals. They're trying to make the charge complete, go all the way back to a tie game, and maybe take their first lead today.
Yeah, there's no reason of keeping those timeouts in your pocket. They don't do you any good once the game's over. So both teams, again, wanting to make sure that they are very prepared for this last 8 minutes of the game. I'm sure the Bobcats are thinking if we can get this game tied up and get that one lead, we can sustain that. The Knights, on the other hand, are talking about what they need to do to make sure that the ball goes back to the other end without a goal being scored.
And right now is not the time for the Knights to think about, hey, we had a 17-10 lead. What happened? Save that for after the game.
Save that for after the game. No, the only thing that they should be thinking about right now is playing defense, making sure that they defend well, try to force a turnover, and if a turnover does happen, that they get the ground ball.
And we are now down to 8 minutes left in the contest, barring overtime.
And now you see the Knights really packing it in, making sure that there's no shooting angles or running lanes.
And the pass comes down low, but a shot is unable to be taken by Lees-McRae. Knights are battling for the ball. It's sitting out there on the turf, picked up by Lees-McRae. They get it to a wide open man down low and score again.
Oh, no goal. They called a penalty.
They're going to wave it off. Joshua Shingleton looked like he had it, but they're going to wave off that goal. A huge break for the Knights there.
Yeah, the referee on the far sideline, out of camera view, called a penalty.
Here comes Turnbull, past a couple of defenders. Knights would love to get a little momentum back by scoring themselves, not to mention maybe taking a little time off the clock with 7:12 to go. And a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, the offensive execution now has to be number one goal. Knights have been able to score 17 goals a day. That's a season high. They need to continue to do the nice work that they've done to get those goals.
Pangater outside with it. Knights work it down low.
Yeah, they need to find Peterson back behind the goal. He's back there all by himself, and he's really done a lot to set up other people today.
Nice pass over to Peterson. He couldn't score, but he's able to get his own possession. It looked like momentarily he took a shot from behind. Boy, that was a point-blank look for Sean Peterson. He just couldn't get the thing released.
Yeah, and he'll be thinking about that one for a long time.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the easier goal attempts that he's had.
And it was a nice pass, too. Knights have had a few nice passes, assists today. Here's Rich with it. He's got a couple of goals. Casey circling, looking for an opening. Fires a shot, no good. Peterson back there, so the Knights still have possession. They've done a pretty good job in the last minute here, maintaining possession, running a little clock. Now they just want to get that goal. It gives them a 3-goal lead again.
Well, as long as the Knights have won the face-off, they've had really good offensive possessions. It's been those possessions where they haven't won the face-off. They haven't been able to force a turnover or to collect the turnover after it's been forced, where we've seen them.
And the ball pops out of bounds. Turnbull had it, lost it. Who's going to get possession of this? And it looks like it's going to be the Knights. Casey Rich with it. And we're under the 6-minute mark, down to 5:45 to go. Rich spinning, shooting high. Peterson right over there, though, so the ball still possession for the Knights.
Yeah, they tried to clear out the side for Casey, and he just unfortunately spun into a double team.
Here's Peterson behind the cage. And an injured player goes down, and as he goes down, Peterson scores. Maybe a leg injury for the injured Bobcat who went to the turf, and the Knights got the goal because the defender was guarding Peterson. When he went down, Peterson was undefended on his approach to the goal.
Yeah, we see the trainers out there talking to him. Looked like, to me, he stepped on the back of Peterson's leg or his foot and then caused something to happen.
Would that be a cramp, Mike?
Yeah, They're testing out the knee a little bit, or looking at the hamstring. He may have pulled a hamstring because the way he went down, it looked like he was shot. And
Right, right.
usually, if you have a hamstring tear, you go down in a heap. You don't take another step. Usually, with a cramp, you'll see them hop around for a second or two and then go down. But he went down hard.
And with 5:30 to go, a huge goal for the Knights to get the lead back up to 3.
And you can see Chad Mahaffey with some of his hand expressions. One of them was his hands just opening up like an explosion, and that's usually the sign of something popped. And fortunately, it's not a knee injury, but hamstrings are hard to heal.
Player is Dylan Quinn, I believe, junior, 5'9", 160 pounds, out of Greensboro, North Carolina.
So while we have a break, at halftime in the women's lacrosse game at York's ahead of St. Mary's 8-2.
Walking okay right there.
Well, walking's not the
Yep.
hard thing. It's once you start to try to use any type of explosive moves, or even worse, any type of lateral moves, that hamstring will just give.
So Sean Peterson, big goal to boost the lead back to 3. Still a lot of time left in this one, 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Knights are familiar with that. They trailed Cobleskill by 3 with 4 minutes to go, came back and won by 1. So they're not about to put this one in the win column just yet. Still 5:30 on the clock.
No, and with the way that the Bobcats have been able to explode for multiple goals in less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, at that point, maybe a 3-goal lead might not be safe until, I don't know, about 30 seconds
30
to go.
seconds to go, exactly.
Ryan Larson trying to win the draw here for the Knights. But Lees-McRae comes away with it.
And here we see that offensive transition where they've really excelled.
And a pass down low, blocked away by Derek Lamb. Good goal, saving play there by Derek.
And that was almost a repeat of the last goal that the Bobcats had scored.
They like to pass that ball just to the left side of the goal. And a pass in across the middle, and a score by Lees-McRae. So they get the goal right back. And it's 18-16 now with 5:06 to go. So every time the Knights try to pull away, the Bobcats mount a charge.
Well, it wouldn't be fun if the game got out of hand for either team, and we've been on some of those.
Well, it'd be fun if the Knights could get over the 20 mark and hold that lead.
Exactly. Let's make some records today, right?
18, the most the Knights have scored this season. And I'm not sure the last time, if ever, the Knights have scored maybe 20 goals or more. And they would like to do that today and get the victory. And the victory, the most important thing, with 4:58 to go. But Lees-McRae down by 2 now. They're trying to get within 1. I'm not sure when's the last time they were with 1. Maybe 2-1, I guess.
Yeah, not being able to win the faceoffs is really putting the pressure on the Knights defense. We've seen that the defense has been very stout, but that was because they hadn't been pressured that much. The Knights were winning a lot of faceoffs.
And Lees-McRae passes the ball, but it goes away, and it's going to go across the line. And so the Knights are going to get a big Lees-McRae turnover and get possession of the ball with 4:29 to go. And it looks like another timeout on the field here, Mike, with 4:29 left, and the Knights ahead by just 2. They've had as much as a 7-goal lead twice today at 13-6 and 17-10. And right now the lead is down to 2 with 4:29 left.
Yeah, very precarious situation. Again, though, possession time is going to be critical for the Knights. We noticed that when they take the ball and they run their offense like Coach Lamb has designed them for, at least today, they take at least a minute, 2 minutes off the clock. We've seen them with a lot of success when they do that also. So that would be something that we look forward to. Yeah,
if you can get a couple of possessions, get a couple of goals, maybe take a minute, minute and a half off the clock. And no matter what Lees-McRae does, you're going to be looking pretty good.
Well, now they're just trying to define what are we going to do in this last 4.5 minutes of the game in order for us to be successful. Right now we can look at the Knights and say, have they been successful in this game so far? Yes, 18 goals is the most goals they've ever scored. They've been in the lead for the whole game. Their passing has been much, much improved over the beginning of the season.
And they've had as much as a 7-goal lead twice today. And I'm not sure when you mentioned the turnovers, the penalties, and the face-offs have been their undoing on the 2 occasions they have taken a 7-goal lead.
Yeah, especially that man-down penalty. That was a major penalty. 2 minutes out, and Bobcats were able to score at least 4 goals with that man down.
Bangerter gets it across and into the offensive area. So here come the Knights trying to get a goal to boost that lead back to 3. With the clock obviously a factor, Peterson works his way in front. Fires a high shot. Not much of a chance of that going in. Still Knights ball, though.
No, and you'd like to see Peterson notice where he is, and if he didn't have a clear shot, go back behind the goal to keep the offense flowing.
Because in some respects, we're almost getting to the point where the clock is as big of an enemy as the scoreboard is for the Lees-McRae Bobcats.
Exactly. Now, if we can get down to that 2.5-2-minute mark and maintain this 2-goal lead, it becomes a real problem for the Bobcats. They're going to have to start pressing out even further and further with their man defense, and that will allow major open lanes for the Knights.
Casey Rich running off some time right now.
Now he's going to want to either pass the ball or start an attack, or else they will start the shot clock.
Closing in on the 3-minute mark here with a 2-goal lead for the Knights. Rich passing the ball, and a shot taken and scores by Bangerter again, and again from that left side. I believe he's got 3 today.
He has 3, and they've all been from that left side, and they've all been from at least 15 yards out.
And it looked like Casey was saying, hey, good spot. I'll get you at the ball.
Well, this gives the Knights a little bit more breathing room. They could really start to breathe easier if they win this next face-off.
And they would love to get another goal to get up to 20. Not to mention the fact that a 4-goal lead looks a lot better than 3 with almost down to the 3-minute mark. Here comes Larson trying to get the draw, and it's scooped up by the Knights. That's Tequila with it. Now it's Peterson. Peterson on the attack. He fires a shot and scores. And the Knights now have a 4-goal lead, 20-16. I'm not sure Lees-McRae was expecting him to go right onto the attack like that.
Yeah, well,
they might be thinking they're going to run some clock here and relax the defense just a tad.
Well, that pass that got past him really worked out to the advantage, because he had to run back and get it to spread the defense out even more. He was able to circle around from his man, come into the front of the net, and get his point-blank shot.
Well, not over just yet. Still 2:57 to go, Mike. But looking better and better for the Knights if they can maybe keep winning these draws and certainly avoid turnovers.
Yeah, the face-offs are the keys.
And this one is battled for and picked up by Lees-McRae. Nope, the ball's going to go over to the Knights. 2:51 to go.
Now I'd look for them to do as they did earlier. Rich has the ball. Let him run around a little bit. Make sure that he looks like he's going to attack. And
maybe at least take 30 or 40 seconds off.
And then find an open shooter as he tries one of his drives.
We're down to 2.5 minutes left in this one. 20-16, Knights on top. Great to see them score 20 goals in this ball game. Rich over to Peterson behind the net. He'll shoot, and the ball's blocked away. Anthony Good back there, so the Knights will still have possession with 2:14 on the clock.
And the day that we're looking for is when the Knights will score 20 goals in a capital game. Then we know that the Knights have arrived. And win.
There you go. Here's Anthony Good with a shot. He scores! It takes a pop with a penalty after he released the shot, and now the Knights have a 5-goal lead. Not quite ready to put this one in the win column just yet, but it's getting better and better.
Now the Bobcats will be playing with a man down at least for a minute.
And how about Anthony Good seeing the opening, taking a shot from behind, and he's actually taken a couple of tough shots today. I mean, physical shots.
Yeah, and he's not worried about it too much right now. He knows this is the last game of the season. He has all summer to recover, but he'll wake up feeling that one tomorrow.
So Anthony Good, is that his fourth or fifth goal today? At least 4.
I would say I know a 4. It could be 5.
He came in, of course, with 22 on the season. So he's got at least 26 and possibly 27 with 2:05 to go in the game now. 21-16 Knights. 5-goal advantage, 2:05 to go. You'd like to say it's over, but maybe we'll wait another 30 to 60 seconds for that.
You see Coach Lamb still going to the very last second, wanting to know what the heck. Did we throw the flag? Did we not throw the flag? Is there a penalty?
Knights have it. Let's see if they run a little clock or go right for the goal. It's Larson. Over to Bangerter, back to Ryan. He fires a shot high, blocked away by Lombardo. Key stop there for the goalkeeper for Lees-McRae with 1:45 to go. Now Lees-McRae has to get busy. They're down by 5. And they've got to score here 5 goals in about 90 seconds.
Yeah, now it's becoming really one of those improbable issues.
And Peterson steals the ball, gets it away from the Lees-McRae player. And right now, Mike, it looks like this one's going to be a Southern Virginia victory today.
Yeah, I would say that the Knights have it in
and
the
Casey
bag.
Rich scores to put it out of reach.
And that one is the goal that give them the game.
Broke the camel's back. 22-16. So Casey Rich, I believe that's his third today. And I believe now he's got 36 for the season.
And they've all come in this fourth period.
36 goals in 16 games. So he's averaging over 2 a game, and the Knights now have a 6-goal advantage with only 1:18 left.
Both teams are back to full strength now. Now, if Ryan Larson can win this draw or this face-off, we'd be really sitting pretty.
Well, great the way the Knights continually, all game long, shook off Lees-McRae charges. You got to tip your hat to the Bobcats. They never gave up, Mike, but also tip your hat to the Knights for just maintaining the advantage despite all these charges made by Lees-McRae.
Well, it's been a very entertaining and well-played game on both sides. This is probably one of the better games that we've seen the Knights completely put together.
Lees-McRae trying to score at the very end here. And the ball rolls into the net somehow.
Yeah, it looked like it rolled off of Derek's chest as he tried to use his whole body to block that.
Lees-McRae gets a goal to make it 22-17 with just 56 seconds left.
Yeah, but I don't think they can score a goal every 10 seconds now. That would just be it'd be a minor miracle.
So a 5-goal advantage here with just 56 seconds left. Yeah, the Knights wouldn't mind scoring a goal or two maybe in the final 56 seconds as well, Mike. Try to wrap this up on a positive note in addition to gaining the victory, which is the bottom line after all. And the Knights grab the draw. It's Anderson with it, Russell Anderson up the right side with just 45 seconds left. Anderson, nice pass over to Peterson. Peterson weaving through traffic. Ball rolls into the goal. And the Knights will have their 23rd goal of the game.
And he gives a little golf shot there.
So it's a 6-goal lead for the Knights with 40 seconds. It didn't take long for them to respond to that Lees-McRae goal.
No, it didn't. And now they're starting to see the smiles, and they're starting to have a little fun because they realize that they got this game in the bag.
And they've also learned today, for those returning players, how to play with the lead.
How to play with the lead. I think they really can look back at this game and say, hey, the system that Coach Lamb really wants to put into place, it will work. We just need to be receptive enough to really bend our will to what he wants, and this is the type of results we could get.
And to keep applying the pressure when you get a 6 or 7 goal lead, because you know the other team's going to mount a charge, or at least there's the possibility of that. Lees-McRae has it with 30 seconds left. And the pass batted away by Maxwell. Maxfield with the good defensive play. He takes a tumble. There's a penalty flag with just 22 seconds left. Colin Maxfield, not talked a whole lot about him this season. One of the bigger players they've got, 6'3", 235, just a freshman. Plays good defense, though.
Yeah, he's one of the long sticks that tries to protect the goal as much as possible and put all kinds of pressure on the offense. Like I said, a very physical specimen.
22 seconds left, 6-goal advantage for the Knights. Their biggest lead today has been 7 on 2 occasions, at 13-6 and 17-10. Lees-McRae, when they made that charge, Mike, I believe they got it down to just 2. That was as close as they could come.
Yeah, what's the
17-15, I think the score was, and since then the Knights have outscored them 6-2.
Well, they've gotten possession off the face-offs, and that just has been the real key for them all day long. Is as long as they've had possession, they've been able to generate 34 shots on goal.
And now the Knights will just run the clock out as Lees-McRae is going to wrap up the season 2-13. And Mike, the Knights are going to finish off this 2015 season with a final record of 2-14. They win their final game of 2015, 23-17.
And that's just again a great game that they put together throughout the whole game. Both sides of the ball was just spot on. We saw only 1 or 2 really lapses. The Bobcats were able to score when the Knights were down a man, and most teams will do that. But congratulations on this last win on the last game of the season, Knights.
Big win for Southern Virginia men's lacrosse team to finish off the season with their second win of the year, 23-17. Mike, before we wrap things up, a quick word about what Jason Lamb might focus on in the offseason, getting ready for next season here. For the 2016 season for men's lacrosse, both in returning players and new faces.
Well, the returning players, he's focusing on not having all of them come back. They've bought into the system. We've seen that. He's trying to make sure that the ones that we see dressed out in their civilian clothes get healthy over the summertime, and he's looking to bring in a lot of skilled players to push these players that have been in on all the games in order to not only knock their skill level up, but also to be able to compete a lot with the rest of the Capital Athletic Conference.
So a big win today for Southern Virginia as they knock off Lees-McRae 23-17. Mike, what was that penalty flag all about?
I have no idea.
Knights are obviously celebrating their second win of the season. Shaking hands to wrap things up here from the fields at Southern Virginia University. And again, this is our final athletic webcast of the season, dating back to September with the soccer, the volleyball, and of course the football. Mike, been long 8 months as the Knights in their second year of D3 sports, continually adjusting in all these various sports now.
Well, it's going to be fun to see them as they increase and learn a little bit more about the Capital Conference and what it's all about and the level of play that is going to be expected in order to compete there. We've seen some teams take some great strides, and looking forward to next year when they take another step forward.
And a chance for the fans to shake the hands of the players who, again, get their second victory of this 2015 season.
Yeah, it's been a real up and down season for the Knights. We've seen a lot of growth. We saw some progress. We saw some games that we thought the Knights would be able to go ahead and take advantage of some different teams and some different sites that came in. Unfortunately, only 2 wins this year, but we have seen them grow and progress to a team that I think could win several games in the Capital Conference next year.
Yeah, they had a couple of close calls early, including that loss to Hood at home. Had 2 wins to finish off the season. Could have been 3, 4, maybe even 5 victories, but a lot of good returning talent. Some of the players we saw today make big contributions, including Sean Peterson, Russell Anderson, Casey Rich, Anthony Good, Ryan Larson, Mike Bangerter. Also, Mackenzie Turnbull had a couple of goals, and, of course, Derek Lamb, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, and there's a couple of them on the sidelines that haven't been able to play a lot. I know that Greg Gowdy, who was really going to be counted on the defensive side to help shore up a lot of the defensive woes that the Knights have had in the past, and he's been out with a knee injury for a very long time now. And I know Coach Lamb's going to be looking forward to having him come back and help out.
Well, the Knights get a chance to celebrate, Mike, and again, this will be our final athletic webcast of the season, so a great way to end things here in late April with a big men's lacrosse victory to wrap things up.
Yeah, it's been a fun year. It's been a long year. It's been a kind of sometimes a frustrating year, not only for the coaches and the athletes, but I'm sure for some of the spring sports fans, because games have been moved around so much. But it's been a growing year and a learning year, and again, there's a lot of good to come for the Knights athletics.
And final thanks to all who made our athletic webcast possible this season, including Craig Reese, all his camera people, Mike Harmon, Art Furler, Chris Pendleton, Jason Lamb, athletic director, and also men's lacrosse coach. And, of course, all the coaches and players, Mike, who have given us a lot of thrills over the last 8 months.
Yes, it's been a great team effort. We've seen the teams on the field, and it's also been a great team effort for those that have been putting these webcasts on.
So, again, a final score today in men's lacrosse to wrap up the 2015 season for the Knights. They win it over Lees-McRae. Final score, Southern Virginia 23 and Lees-McRae 17. That'll wrap things up here from the fields at Southern Virginia University. For Mike Harmon, I'm Jim Bresnahan. Thanks again for joining us, everyone.